everybody, the Richmond Paddle Cup 2021. We've got Ashley behind us here. We've got John McHugh over there somewhere. A bit of an anticlimactic thing this year. There's only going to be 3, maybe 4 of us who actually show up. I forgot to bring cameras today, so there's going to be no video on the river itself. So I'll talk to you again at the end, and it's going to be low, it's going to be bumpy. We're all paddling plastic, so we'll see what happens. I don't know, I don't really have any thoughts. We'll check in soon.
We're at the Richmond Paddle Cup. There are 3 people competing today.
So, 3 of us this year. A little bit less exciting than normal, but it's still going to be a great day paddling.
So when's that 10-second countdown coming?
I should just sit here and watch them go.
All right, 10,
9, 8, 7,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoop! And they're off. Good luck to all of you.
See you in an hour.
Woohoo! See you in an hour. I think that'll be probably 3 hours, maybe. And yes, he is. He has taken off and he's going.
I can't get over how
John is second.
John's almost got too much height to his stroke.
Hey guys, we're here at the 2021 Richmond Paddle Cup race. We just raced for 22 miles. John McHugh here won the race in his epic V7. We had a good race, got really hot today. How would you describe the race, John?
It's kind of like 2 races. There's the hot race, and then there's the extremely hot race. The last few miles were just, you know, scorching. The water gets slow, and there's boat wakes, so it was just wanting to get done.
Yeah, it was kind of tough. Now, words of wisdom for you today. All I can tell you is today there were like pieces of foam, just like bio foam floating down the river. And same if you have leaves in the fall, if you watch where the foam is going and where you can see the fastest part of the river. So it's like following breadcrumbs. So, you know, pay attention to the river. Sometimes you get little signs from nature that tell you the way to go, where the current is, the fastest route. And then the other bit of wisdom I would impart is I pushed it a little too hard today. At a mile 20 and a half, mile 21, I felt my core just getting really, really hot. And I started cramping up, and you know, I felt shivery, and I knew right away back it down, and I suffered from heat stroke today. I literally had to crawl out of my boat, and thankfully there were some great volunteers who got me ice packs and whatnot. It took me a little while to bounce back, so don't push it too hard. Know the signs for heat stroke. When you feel them, just back off. There were times where I just pulled over into the shade on some logs and just rested a while. But you know, I was feeling headachy, a little nauseous. Thought I might just cramp up. It was a real deal. So I just, you know, I just kind of dropped out at that point.
Back off.
Yeah. So
at that point, the race is unimportant. It's more a matter of like, don't die.
Exactly. So that was the story this year. There were 3 of us out there. Ashley's still paddling. We're gonna wait to cheer her on. Come on to this race next year, people. We needed more people today. It's a great race. Crosswind Paddle Company sponsors this, and they do a great job. There's like a neat little award ceremony here at the end. They have refreshments, a food truck, great people. They actually kept me alive today, so thankful for them, and come on out next year. Hey everyone, it's the day after the Richmond Paddle Cup race. It's Sunday. I'd just like to turn this video into a bit of a public service announcement at this point to let you know what happened. Yesterday was a very, very hot day. We started at 8 in the morning, a little bit before 8 in the morning, but it very quickly, the sun came out and it got very hot. I know it was in the mid-90s. On the drive home, my truck thermometer said it was 99 on the outside temps. And I don't know, that might just be because my truck thermometer doesn't have 3 digits, but it was very, very hot yesterday. And we got exposed to the sun very early in the race. And then toward the later part of the race, where the river gets, you know, very wide and very slow, it got even hotter. The sun was higher. It was very, very hot. Now, I knew John McHugh wanted this race really bad, and when we started, he and I were kind of side by side for, I don't know, a mile or two, chatting, visiting, and I fully assumed we would do that most of the way down the river, and then he would have enough gas in his tank at the end to beat me. That's how I expected this race to play out. Turns out a little something different happened. Now, we were racing plastic boats because the river was very low and slow, and we knew we were going to hit rocks, and sure enough, we did. I was in my Cobra Viper kayak. John was in his Epic V7, and we had someone named Ashley who was paddling a Piranha Speeder. We all knew we were going to take contacts with rocks, so we stuck with plastic. Those are heavy boats, and when you get to the later parts of this particular race, when the river is wide, deep, and slow, you really feel the weight of that plastic. I mean, you really feel how heavy those boats are. So anyways, at some point we were paddling early in the race, and I got a couple strokes ahead of John McHugh. I really fully expected he would hop right back and up next to me and we'd continue on. But that didn't happen. I assumed he was kind of closely behind me, you know, paddling in my slipstream or my wake. And once or twice going around bends, I turned around and, you know, I thought he'd be there and he wasn't. I looked the other way, he wasn't. And I thought, okay, I'm just not turning around enough. He's directly behind me. And then it turns out he wasn't. He had dropped back, and then we went through a few little rock gardens. I bumped and scraped. I got stuck once and had to push myself off rocks. That happened a couple times. John said that happened to him too, and he said there was one rock he, you know, literally got stuck on. He had to get his legs out of his boat and push his way across it. So, you know, there's a little extra effort there too. There was one, I'll call it a class 2 wave. It was not a rapid. It was one single wave that I went right for it. Just to get that splash, and that felt good. That was somewhere probably around mile 15 or 16. And at some point I turned around and John was way back there. I knew he was like 2 or 3 minutes behind, and this is the later stages of the race now. We're talking about maybe mile 17, 18, 19. And I felt like I was in really good shape, and then all of a sudden I just felt like my core was burning up, and I got some shivers, okay? And I knew in the back of my head, okay, that's not good when you feel like you're really cold on such a hot day. That's happened maybe once or twice to me, and I just backed off a little bit, and I was fine. I started dunking my hat in the water and putting it on my head to try to cool myself off, let the water drip down. Now, the water in the river that day was like 80-some degrees, so the water wasn't terribly cold or refreshing. And normally you get some cooling effect under your boat from the cold water, but we didn't even have that today. The water was so hot. It was like being in a convection oven. Well, it was mile, I'm going to say 19 and a half. I started to feel a little bit of cramping. First in my right leg, then in my right glute. Then I could feel my forearms kind of feeling like they wanted to cramp. So I backed off a little more. I knew I had at least 90 seconds to 2 minutes on John. I'm like, okay, don't do anything stupid. Just back it off. Odds that he's going to catch up and make up that gap in the last mile and a half, 2 miles is slim. So I backed it off, and I continued to just feel like I was on fire. So I loosened up the buckles on my life jacket as much as I could to try to get some air circulating. I stuck my hand behind my life jacket against my chest. I was burning up. I kept dunking my hat in the water, putting it on. We're at mile 21 now, 1 mile to go. And it just deteriorated from there, and I knew exactly what was happening. Yesterday I said it was heat stroke. It was actually heat exhaustion, which is a first cousin to heat stroke. And then I knew right away, you know, the race was unimportant. I just needed to make sure I got myself off the river. John caught up with, I'm going to say, a mile, 3/4 of a mile left, and I said, John, take this race. I said, the heat got me. So he paddled on ahead, and things got worse. I got more crampy. I got dizzy. I won't say I got disoriented, but at one point, I was kind of wondering if I somehow managed to get myself turned around, and I was paddling upriver. And then I looked up and got my senses back, and I just realized, no, there was a slight breeze blowing upriver, and the waves were coming up. But it was just that little thing, made me realize I was not in my right mind. So then I just got off to the side of the river. I was hanging on to some tree stumps in the shade to cool off. I could feel the heat just rolling off my body. I felt dizzy, wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to paddle to the end. So I just would sit there to try to calm down, try to get my heart rate down a little bit, and then continue on just a little bit, you know. And I did that along the shoreline for a little bit. And then there's at one point, I was maybe a quarter mile from the finish line. I saw the finish line across the river. And if a safety boat would have come up to me just then and said, "Do you need help? Do you want to ride back?" I would have said yes, because I knew I was in trouble. But I decided, okay, you know, what option do I have? I'm just going to go easy as I can, paddle myself across the river to the finish line. When I got there, the first words out of my mouth were, you know, "I'm in trouble, I need help." And thank goodness there were volunteers there. Paddling buddy Dave was there with his wife Kathy. They were tremendous. I couldn't even get out of my boat. I just kind of rolled it to the side and flopped out. I couldn't stand up. There was a rowboat next to me, so I just hung on to that and literally had to crawl through the mud. I was afraid to even stand up because I thought I would pass out. You know, I got a little bit of tunnel vision, and it was all I could do to crawl up that boat ramp through the mud and get myself on the shore in the grass in a shady spot. And then I just fell down. I just wanted to be flat, and I just wanted my heart to get back to normal and to cool off. People were pouring ice cold water bottles on me. They were putting ice packs on my head, my neck. Somebody was taking my pulse. They, thankfully, great volunteers, nursed me back to health. It took about a half an hour to 40 minutes. Once I was okay to even just stand up, which took a while, I got myself over to a hose, and I just doused my whole body with water from the hose. So let this be a warning to you. Heat exhaustion is a very real thing. I thought I was in, you know, great shape. I'm fairly well trained. I've never experienced anything like that before. But recognize the signs, and I'm going to tell you what those signs are right now. Signs of heat exhaustion, they can develop very quickly or over time. For me, I got a little bit of a heads up when I got the shivers, but then all of a sudden, after, you know, maybe 10 minutes after that, things started happening pretty fast, and it just progressed. Well, you have cold, moist skin with goosebumps when in the heat. Heavy sweating, yeah, check. Faintness, yeah, check. Dizziness, yeah, check. Fatigue. Weak, rapid pulse. Low blood pressure upon standing. And that was probably the sensation when I felt like if I was going to stand up, I was going to pass out. Somehow I think I knew that. Muscle cramps, yeah, check. Legs, lats, glutes, forearms. Nausea, I felt like I thought I might just throw up, because I remember thinking about, okay, do I throw up in the boat or do I put my head over the side? So I thought that. Headache, I didn't have so much a headache. It's just like, I would just say general discomfort from being so hot. So recognize the signs of heat exhaustion, and at that point, don't be a hero. Don't try to push it. You know, for me, it was less than a mile. I thought, you know, do I just muscle through this and get there? But I realized pretty quickly what was happening, and I just needed to get myself cool and safe and off the river. So that's your public service announcement. Know the signs of heat exhaustion. Pay attention to them. No race is that important that you should push it beyond the point where you can come back. You don't want to progress to the next stage, which is heat stroke. That's when you need to get IVs and fluids into your body from trained medical staff. You don't want to get yourself into that place. So when you know you're in a bad spot, back off, do whatever it takes to just get yourself safe, get healthy, and, you know, live to paddle another day. So there you go. That was my experience. John, you paddled a great race. I give you all the credit in the world. I knew you were coming for me all day long. That's why I was pushing it so hard. If it was anybody else behind me, I probably would not have paddled so hard. But I knew you could come back and take it, even if I stayed in my best paddling form. So good job to you. Congratulations. And I'll just say everybody should come to this race next year. It was a little disappointing. The 22-miler this year. I think we had 22 paddlers last year. We had something like 9 signed up, but only 3 showed up. So it was a small fraternity this year. Paddling buddy Dave, you paddled the 5-miler. You were a little bit banged up and decided to go from the 22 to the 5. You took first place. Congratulations to you. That's it. That's the Richmond Paddle Cup 2021. Thank you, Kathy Seegers, for the little bits of video and photos I've included in this video. And I'll see you there next year. And, you know, come on, check out Westside Boat Shop boats. at davethekayaker.com. All of Doug Bushnell's original designs are now with me. I can build you a boat, and we'll get this business back in business. So let me know what you want. If you've ever wanted a performance racing kayak or fitness kayak, we're getting into the time of year now where these boats can extend your paddling season into the fall and into the winter because they're decked kayaks. So let me know. Check out Westside Boat Shop Kayaks. Check out davethekayaker.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll keep you posted as to what I'm up to. Until next time, love this sport, take what it has to give you, and pay it forward.
Westside Boat Shop Kayaks. The tradition continues.